If you had a minute or two with an average music fan, how would you start to explain to them the difference between melody and harmony?
Oh, it's a great question. Well, I would start by saying that melody is your voice. So when you open your mouth and speak or sing, out comes one line, and a melody is a line, and your melody is your line. Harmony is many melodies happening at once. So melody kind of leads to harmony. And harmony is, you could, in a very simple terms, you could describe it as the relationship between things in the world. Within music, you could say harmony is many notes working together to create these kind of tapestries of sound. And in music, we call these things often chords. So the idea of many chords, and you can have a series of chords or a progression of chords, or you can stay on one chord. But many of the songs that exist in the world revolve around a series of chords. So you might say F major is a chord, or D flat minor is a chord, or A flat sus is a chord. These are lovely chords, and I've spent many years, minutes, days, weeks, months, years exploring how these chords affect each other and also affect me in stasis. So melody kind of sits on the top of a chord, for example, and tells a story over a harmonic area. You could say a key, which is like a sort of center of gravity in music. But also many melodies exist together and create harmony. And so if you look back at somebody like Johann Sebastian Bach, who's like one of the biggest legends ever to walk the face of the earth, the way that he thought about harmony was, many different melodies, all satisfying to sing and all very natural feeling, that work together, create a sort of a counterpoint between lots of different elements and create these wonderfully changing emotional fabrics and moods and curtains of sound. So harmony. Yeah, harmony is a combination of many melodies, and a melody is something inherent to being alive. It is what happens when you open your mouth.
When you're at home with your mum and sisters, I believe that you're fond of singing together in four-part harmony. Is that correct?
That's absolutely true. Yeah, for sure. Every Christmas we have a rule where we sit down on the sofa and we open the book of Bach chorales. And when I say a Bach chorale, I mean a four-part, like a sort of almost like a four-part madrigal composed by Bach. He did these harmonizations of folk tunes of the time in the 1600s, and we sing them through, and it's very jolly. And it sometimes happens after having consumed some delicious Christmas deliciousness, you could say. And so there's that, and also obviously Christmas carols. And being from England, so much of my childhood was singing "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" or "Come Ye Faithful" or "In the Bleak Midwinter" and all these absolute banging Christmas carols. And I think in my mind growing up, it was very natural to imagine like an anthemic song that everybody knows, whether it's like a Spice Girls song or a Christmas carol. You can take that song and you can arrange it into something that feels unique and something that's your own. And I started my musical journey by doing such things, arranging songs I really loved. And a lot of that love came from just this first-hand experience of singing with my family. And anyone who's ever sung with a group of people in a choir or with friends or whatever will know that there's just something that happens in the room. It can't be described, but the feeling of singing together, it's like one of those unparalleled feelings. It brings you straight into the present moment, and it's such a good reminder of all the most important parts of being a human being.
Hmm. That notion of four-part harmonies, would you mind demonstrating that with a well-known song or one of your favorites that comes to mind?
For sure. Let me just load up. Could you hear that C major chord
Yes.
just then? Okay, so let's see. If you take a song like oh no, bear with me for a second. Yeah, it's right. The Australian national anthem. Okay, it's coming back to me. One of my pet projects over quarantine was to learn all the national anthems of the world, and that one has escaped me for just a second. But so you take a melody like right. That's the melody, and so you can create a second melody that goes along with that, like yeah. And so the bass line might move down and the melody might move up, which is one of Bach's favorite techniques. He calls it contrary motion, one thing going up, one thing going down. Or we call it contrary motion, he does it. But yeah, that melody, for example, one of my favorite things about the national anthems, which is why I learned them all, is just because they're actually very simple tunes. It's just outlining one key, which is F major. But you can actually take that tune really far out, you know. You can go crazy, whatever you want to do. And so the exercise of taking a tune, well-known tune, and harmonizing it is endless, because it's like solving a Sudoku or playing a game of chess, but there's so many different options as to how you can solve the problem, and it's as much a mathematical exercise as it is an emotional storytelling based one, you know. So you have a song, and it may also have words, and then as a musician, one of my favorite things in the whole world to do is to take that song and to kind of paint it, you can say outpaint it into an environment that feels like I want it to feel. And you have so much power if you are able to grasp the nature of music and transform it into feeling, which I think is what I spend a lot of my life chasing, the feeling of how to do that.
Mm. I'm amazed that you pulled the Australian national anthem out of nowhere, because
Well, thanks.
no one expects you to know that. So
Right.
thank you for
Okay, you're
remembering that
welcome.
and demonstrating it. That was
Yeah,
brilliant.
all
Thank you.
good. Oh, no, absolutely.